Hi, Phil Bajura here from Action Coach Business Steps, and following on from our live video earlier in the week on how to train and develop a winning team. So in our first session we covered off what are those core skills and competencies that you need to be considering in rating not only your employees but also yourself and your management team. In today's session we're going to cover off the training and the succession plan. Now, once you have completed the skills and the competency matrix for each employee, it will become very apparent where your skill and competency gaps exist within the business. Using the information, you can now conduct an analysis for creating a training plan for each individual in your organisation that will narrow down the skill gaps that you have identified in the business as part of this process. It is important to take into consideration each employee, their current skill and competency, their ability to learn and take on more skills, as well as their capacity to step into a new role or leadership level, and that's just to name a few. One of the biggest fears that succession owners have is investing money in training their team members and then having them leave. A bigger fear should be that when you are not investing in training or developing your employees and they decide to stay, the last thing you need is an incompetent team who will only ever achieve a mediocre job. Using Richard Branson's quote that we started with in this article, which is train your team so they can leave, treat them so well that they don't want to leave. And that's the reason why you need to treat them well so that they do stay after you have trained them. Once you've completed that training plan, it's then developing a succession plan. And the succession plan is ultimately what you will use to, in the initial stages, identify who is capable of stepping up into someone else's role in the event that they go on leave, they might be sick, or for any other reason, which will be short-term step-ups. You can also use that succession plan for identifying a career path for each one of your employees. You can identify that succession plan for the positions that you have and who may be capable of stepping up to them at a point in the future. The next step in how to train and develop a winning team is then the appraisal process. The performance appraisal can be defined as the process of identifying, evaluating and developing the work performance of team members to help achieve the goals and objectives of the organisation. At the same time, appraisals benefit team members by providing them with recognition, feedback, career guidance and personal development. The appraisal system is implemented to give everyone in the organisation the chance to discuss their job, their performance, the forthcoming objectives and future aspirations with their own manager, and ensure that everyone has a common understanding and a vision for what everyone is trying to achieve. The appraisal meeting must be a two-way communication between the manager and the team member. Now, it's really important. It is not a meeting to counsel an employee for poor attitude or behaviour. If this is an issue, it should have been dealt with well before the appraisal meeting. The performance appraisal involves the manager and their team members meeting on a one-on-one basis at regular intervals. And I'd recommend at least annually, if not biannually, to discuss work performance in relation to A, execution of roles and responsibilities, and B, the requirements of the organisation and the individual's contribution to the achievement of the organisation's objectives. The appraisal system is made up of 3 sections. The first section is the pre-appraisal is to be completed by the person being reviewed. That means that they complete their own appraisal prior to the meeting with you. The second step is the appraisal meeting itself will be conducted at an agreed time. All right, and you must give plenty of notice for that. And then the third step is the post-appraisal follow-up, the action plan, objectives and the targets, which everybody then signs off on. The skills and competency matrix, the company policies and procedures manuals, as well as the individual's position profiles, will be used as the reference material throughout the appraisal review. Effective performance appraisals rely on clear performance standards being established and discussed with each team member. The 6 steps to a successful performance appraisal include, and in most effective performance appraisal processes, a team member and their manager will meet at regular intervals to reflect on what is required of the employee to do their job well, including behaviour and results. Point 2 is set goals that will benefit the individual and the business. Step 3 is share feedback on great work as well as areas for improvement, and do that on an ongoing basis. Point 4 is identify opportunities to develop performance through ongoing education, training and learning. Point 5 is formally review performance after a specified period, which you will agree during the appraisal process. And then the last point is reward a job well done. Training and developing your team is just one of all of the important aspects of developing a successful business. In today's business environment, there are industries who are experiencing significant labour shortages. Therefore, it's very pertinent that you invest in training your team and then treat them so well that they never want to leave, because it's becoming harder and harder to find those good or great people to fill any vacancies that you may have. Staff training and development will lead to better staff retention and will be a big factor in determining the success of businesses in the future. What steps are you going to take to better train and develop your own team? If you do have any questions, please reach out. I'm here to help. If you would like any of the templates that I have outlined through these 2 sessions, being the skills and competency matrix, the appraisal forms, the training plans, then again, please reach out. I'm happy to share those. So until next time, please remember to keep focused on your business and be implementing new strategies each and every week or day, whatever is the most useful for you. Bye now.